everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I had nothing to do. I just recorded a video on 2 packages that I got today, so that will be up pretty soon. So I just wanted to get on here and just talk to you guys and answer a few questions while I have nothing to do. So if you're just joining, again, hey everyone, I'm just here to do a quick little Q&A because I have nothing else to do, so I might as well help you guys out. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit before I start answering questions. This is gonna be a Q&A, so just ask any questions that you want. I didn't have anything to do at the moment. I just finished recording a video on 2 packages that I got in the mail. Surprisingly, I had no idea they were coming in, so I just wanted to open it up while I was on recording, I guess, so you guys can see what all I got. But that's gonna be on a different video. Not this one. Hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna wait a little bit before I start asking questions. I'm gonna clean up this a little bit before I start. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start. Let me scroll down so I can see everyone from the beginning. So again, hey to everyone that just joined. I'm just doing a quick little Q&A while I have nothing to do. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to keep up, but the messages are going away so fast. So I'm just going to read it as I go. So somebody said, can I do a pedicure and nails from home before I go to school so that I can make money to help me buy things for school? Okay, so basically the question is, can you do nails from home, without you being licensed before going to school? And the answer is you can. You're honestly not supposed to be working without a license, especially on other people. I know I did it for a while, but the thing is, you really never know how hateful people are. I know I've had a few people reaching out to me and asking, if I ever had any people basically hating or reporting, you to the health department, because it can happen. So the only thing I can say about that is basically just be careful. Like, do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do. But just be careful with, just who you do, I guess, to make sure that you don't get in trouble for it. Somebody said, what's your #1 acrylic brand? As you guys know, I love the Mia Secret acrylic system. I use their pink, which is like a translucent pink. I use that on all of my sets. I also use their clear. I use their cover colors. I use their monomer. I use the Mia Secret gel resin. And then actually I just got a new bottle of monomer in the mail that I haven't opened yet. Let's see. Okay, somebody said, what do you recommend to gain a client base if you're starting and not really active on social media? Okay, so you said you're not active on social media. You are gonna have to be really, really involved in social media, because that's where, all of our people are coming from. Just post your pictures as often as you can. Even if that's not something that you do, you want to start doing that, because that's where a lot of your clients come from. You post your pictures, people are gonna like them. They're gonna ask where you're located. They're gonna ask how much you charge, and they're gonna want to come to you because they see that you're good. So the main thing about building a clientele is, one, just posting your work or passing out business cards. You can set like a goal, every time I go to the store, you have to make sure that you are, everybody's not a people person. Like, I don't like just coming up to people and just like talking to them, because I don't know, it's like awkward to me. But just give yourself like a goal, like, okay, every time I go to the store, my goal is to pass out 10 business cards, or do like the little reference cards. I think I've mentioned this plenty of times, where you do like the referral cards or the rewards cards or whatever you want to call them, and you just give them out to people, like to your clients, and say, hey, you know, when you refer 5 people, I'll give you a free feel, or you know, a pedicure, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel like comfortable with. Just do stuff like that, and people are going to be recommending people because they want that free feel or full set or whatever you want to do. Somebody said, can I do a video of doing gel instead of acrylic? Honestly, I don't even know that I have enough gel to do a set, and I'll see maybe sometime in the future. Somebody said they can't access my website. Okay. For the 1 million time, my website is down for restocking at the moment. I don't have a date on it right now. I'm working on a lot of things, but I am definitely working on it. As you guys know, this is what I've been doing for a while. I like restock the website, and then I take it down when it like sells out, and then I stock it up again, and then launch the website again. So it will be up really soon. Sorry, y'all, it's so hot in here. I will have the website up really soon. So just be patient with me, and it will be up really soon. Somebody said, how much do I typically charge? The prices depend. I have like set prices, so it wouldn't like include, like for $30, it would include like this 2 designs on each hand. For $40, it would include something on every nail. But I am thinking about going up on my prices, because honestly, it's to the point where like sometimes, like when I do like the really, really long nails, I feel like, you know, I'm not getting what it should be worth. So I am going to be going up on my prices pretty soon, but I'll give you guys the details on that. Let me see. Favorite cover color acrylic. The one that I use for a cover color is the Mia Secret Rose. Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's the Mia Secret Rose. Yeah, it is. So it looks like this, and it just say Mia Secret Cover Rose Acrylic Powder. It's like an in-between nudish and pinkish, so it's really pretty. Somebody said, what do you use to clean around the cuticle area when you use nail polish? I use a small brush and acetone. I dip it into the acetone, wipe it off on a dapping dish to where it's not soaking wet, but it's, you know, damp. And then I just go around the cuticle area. I know there's people that use nail polish remover, and not acetone, but just nail polish remover, but it takes a little bit more to clean it off, so I just use acetone. Let's see. Okay, so what somebody just said, they want to start doing nails. Like, what products do I recommend for them to start doing nails? Okay, so if you are a beginner, you want to stay away from like the pre-made kits that they sell on Amazon or eBay that look like they make them look nice, but a lot of it is MMA acrylic, which you want to stay away from. So what I recommend is basically just, you guys know that I use the Mia Secret acrylic system, and it works really good for me. So I would recommend just buying everything individually, because you're going to be able to buy, you know, bigger containers of it. Because a lot of the time when you buy like pre-made kits, even like the Mia Secret, even Mia Secret sells like a kit that's already pre-made. I don't have it over here. I still have to do a video on that. But even like that, the containers are like literally like this small, which is like half an ounce, and it's not gonna last you very long. So I would recommend just going ahead and buying, you know, the bigger containers, so you can have more product to work with. And you know, it's gonna be probably right around the same price. So I would say just go ahead and invest in good products, because even then, like if you try to go the cheap route, you have to have a really good brush to do, you know, a good set. You also have to have good products to be able to do a good set. So if you try to go the cheaper route, route, it's not gonna work out as well. Because even me, when I first started doing nails, I thought that I could just buy one of the little kiss kits from Walmart, and it was a disaster. So I don't want you guys to have that same bad experience. So I would go ahead and just invest in something good and get, you know, a good experience. Somebody said, am I licensed? Yes, I am. I am self-taught. I started learning to do nails when I was 15 years old, or maybe 14. No, 15, and then at 16, I started cosmetology school in my high school, cosmetology in my high school, which was my sophomore year, or my junior year, and then my senior year, and then I went on to college to get my license. So again, I am self-taught, but I'm also licensed. Again, my website is down for restocking. Somebody just asked that. It will be up soon, and I'll be sure to tell you guys about it. So if you try to go on there right now, it's not going to let you on. So I'll let you guys know once it's back up and running. What? Let's see. Somebody said, are dust collectors really worth it? Honestly, the one that I have right now by my card is pretty good. But, you know, when you're doing acrylic nails, especially when you're working with gel polish or colored acrylics, you're going to have a lot of filing. So it does suck up a lot of dust, but it doesn't suck up all of it. And that's the same thing for, honestly, I think every dust collector. You know, they collect some, but they don't just get rid of all of the dust. So really it comes up like down to you. But honestly, I always make sure that I use my dust collector, because even if it doesn't collect it, like a lot of the time it'll still be in my shirt. But if I don't use my dust collector, like I can even see the dust just coming up to my face, and I don't want to be breathing in the dust. So it does help with that as well. Somebody said, what's your favorite polish that's not gel? Honestly, a lot of the ones that I have on my wall, I took a lot of them out, but right now I have mostly gel. I have some of the D&D regular nail polishes, and then I also have some Essees. I really like Essie because they're not too thick or too thin. Or if you want to go the cheaper route, I also like the Simple Colors. Those you can find at Walgreens, Walmart, I don't know where else. The other ones that are also pretty good are Pure Eyes, and those you can find at Walmart as well. I think they're like $1 or something. So you can definitely, you know, find some good polish that are really cheap. Another brand is also Clean Colors. Those are pretty good. Some might be a little bit on the thicker side, but they're still really inexpensive. I know if you go to Burlington, they sell like the boxes full of, I think it's like 5 or 6 polishes for like $5. So I do recommend those as well. uh Somebody said, can you do a tutorial on toes but use an acrylic with tips on them? I honestly only have like one client that gets acrylic on her toes, and she came today and she didn't get acrylic because her natural toenails grew out. So she just decided to get the gel polish over her toes. So I honestly do not have anybody to do the acrylic on their toes. But when I do, I'll be sure to record. Yeah. Brush recommendations. You guys know that I love the Alpha brushes. Lately I've been using the Alpha brush in a number 10, and it's the oval shape. I do have a promo code for them, so I'll be sure to leave that down in the description. But the promo code is Natalie10, and they're just so soft. And as you can see, I always keep my brush really flat, so it works really good for me, and I do highly recommend it. If you are a beginner, I recommend you start off with like a number 9 and then work your way up to a bigger one, you know, once you feel comfortable. But you want to make sure that you start off with a small one. That way you're able to control your product as you're working. You don't want to use the one that's like really big and then you have acrylic all over the nail. How do I keep my brush flat? So whenever I finish doing each set, I dip my brush into a little dapping dish with acetone. I know some people don't like to use acetone, but I don't mind it. So I just fill this up with acetone, just set my brush in there just like this for like 10 minutes. And then afterwards, I just dry it off, and I make sure that I always leave it flat, just like this, making sure that it's flat on the side with the name, just like this, if that makes sense. So even if you have to rub your fingers on the tip of the brush to flatten it out, that would work as well. If your brush is not flat, like if you messed it up and it's like really rounded, I guess, you could always get like regular top coat, not the gel top coat, but just regular top coat, and put it on the brush and just flatten it out and let it dry out, and that's going to help train your brush back to being flat. if that made sense. But again, the brushes that I recommend are by Alpha Brush. The promo code is Natalie10 and it gets you 10% off. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. Okay, somebody just asked about the monomer warmer, which is this one. This monomer warmer is basically, it's for your monomer and it does exactly what it's called. It warms up your monomer. So when it's cold, your monomer always has to be at room temperature. So when it's cold, the acrylic will crystallize, which means that it's gonna look like ashy looking. It's gonna be kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it happened to me before. So it's just gonna be like kind of rough if you touch it, and it's gonna look almost whitish. That means that the acrylic was, or the liquid was too cold. So with the monomer warmer, it just warms up the monomer. But once it starts warming up, you know, here is starting to warm up. Like I'm literally so hot in here, but I haven't turned on the air yet. So once it starts warming up, you won't need to use the monomer warmer. Let's see. Um, no, I've never, somebody just asked if I've ever used the dip powder. Honestly, I've never used the dip powder. All of my clients, as you guys can see by my videos and my Instagram, they like the long nails extra, and so no, I don't do dip. Somebody said, do you need a license to work from home? Honestly, excuse me. Honestly, you have to have a license in order to work on anyone. I think somebody's asking about my banner, like my YouTube I'm sorry, I got the scissors. Like the YouTube banner, I think that's what it's called, or thumbnail, I'm not sure. But the person that made mine is Aaliyah. I'll be sure to leave her information down below, or if you can comment. I think somebody said she comment on here. So if you're watching, girl, just leave your information down if you want to, you know, help other people out and do theirs. I don't know if she charges or what, but if you want, you can leave your information down and I'll be sure to pin it. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, somebody just asked about the bling. As you guys know, I do sell the bling on my website. It's always up, and like the bling never sells out. A lot of people always ask me, but it never sells out, so it's always gonna be there. So whenever I restock or, you know, relaunch the website, the bling will be back up, which is these, and then also like the rugby and the teardrop. I have all of those. Okay, somebody said, when you are doing acrylic nails, I see you wipe the cuticle area with your brush. Wait, you always do that. Are you wiping acrylic off the cuticles? Okay, so whenever I use my brush, let's see. Whenever I'm doing nails and you see me go around the cuticle area, that's me wiping any product off the skin. Whenever I do that, I make sure that I wipe my brush off on the paper towel a lot before I do it. So the brush will be damp. So that's what you see, but I'm just cleaning the cuticle area with my brush to get any of the acrylic off. And a lot of the time I might not even have product on there, but, or like on the cuticle area, but if you go back in and just wipe it off, it's gonna make it look a lot neater. Sorry, I'm trying to report this thing. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to go back to the okay, something else that I wanted to talk about was tips and forms. So somebody asked me, that's what somebody, like literally we said it at the same time. Monica, right when I said tips and forms, she said no tips or forms. But anyways, the difference between, or not necessarily the difference, but you know, there's a lot of people that use tips like me, and there's a lot of people that use forms. It's literally just what they feel comfortable with, you know, whatever they learned with. I learned to do nails with tips. I also learned to do nails with forms, but I feel more comfortable with using tips, which is why I use it. Honestly, I don't know. I know that I've seen people do like nails with forms and they turned out really like thick, I guess. And that was somebody here in my area that did them, and my client came and they had a set from there. I'm not sure that's for everyone, but the tips or the nails with the forms were a little bit thicker, but again, it just depends on your nail tech whether she likes using forms. And that's even like for you guys, you know, you could either learn to do nails with the tips or the forms, whatever you feel comfortable with. I think one advantage though that I like about, you know, if I was to do forms is that, you know, a lot of the time when you buy nail tips, you might not use all of your zeros or all of your, you know, whatever number, and then you have to restock. And a lot of the time, like even my tips, you can't just buy them individually. You would have to buy a whole new pack. So a lot of the time I have a lot of number zeros, I have a lot of number 10s, and like there's nothing I can do about it because they don't sell them individually, to where if I was just using forms, I wouldn't have that problem. So that's the only thing that I don't like about using tips. But yeah. Somebody say, how can you tell if tips are cheap, or low quality? So basically, you know, if they're really flimsy, then they might not be as good. I didn't like using the flimsy thin nails for a while, but I learned to work with them. So I really like them now because they are a little bit longer, and I get them from my local nail supply store. So sometimes you will be able to notice the difference between the nail tips that I always use, which are the same ones that I sell, and then the difference between those and then the other ones that I use on my clients. Sometimes when they want longer nails, because those are a little bit longer. The eating, somebody just said, what about the eating? I honestly, I think those are the other ones that I have, that I got from my nail supply store, and those work really good. They are a little bit on the thinner side, so when you file them, they are going to be a bit flimsy, but just make sure that when you're filing, you're holding your client's like nail with your thumb. That way they, you know, don't just go all over the place, because it could break as well, but they will work. I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm literally just reading what I can. It's really like going super fast. So I'm just reading what I see at the time. Somebody said, do you know of a monomer that's not strong in smell? Honestly, a lot of the monomers have the same smell to them. I don't, like, I've never really found one that's not as strong. I've heard there's one that smells like cotton candy. I forgot the name of it. But if anybody knows of a good monomer, like, let us know, girls. Spill the tea. Let us know a good monomer that's low in smell, or even a unscented one, or no odor one, whatever you want to call it. Just let us know down in the description so we can get on it. Okay, I think somebody said E-Nail Couture. Those are the ones that have the cotton candy scented acrylics or monomer. Okay, so somebody said, can you use different brand like liquid and powder? So honestly, I've used it before and I haven't had an issue, because for a while, I think I was using my OPI powder with something else. I can't remember what liquid. And honestly, oh, sorry. And honestly, I didn't have an issue with it, but I remember one time we had a lady from OPI come to the school. You know, they were promoting their products, and basically she was saying how, let me see. Somebody said, Perla said, CJP all-in-one monomer. They don't have a smell, and it's all-in-one monomer. Do you, let me see. Yeah, I know that odor, like the low odor monomer sets really slow. I do have one. I think it's by Competition, which is OPI. I've never even used it. It's like the little sample set. Let me see. Okay, yeah, see, I said I was going to do a review on this a long time ago. Oh, no, it's not Competition. It's the Claret, I think. And it says odor and track free system. And it just looks like this. I haven't used it yet because I have heard that, you know, it takes a really long time to actually set. And then it also leaves like a little sticky residue, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But Perla said that CJP is the bomb.com. And then she said, let me see. She also said you don't need a primer. So I guess when she said all-in-one is just the monomer and the primer. So you don't have to use primer. It's already in the powder or the liquid. So I haven't used that one. Somebody said, what monomer do I prefer? I use the Mia Secret monomer as well as the powder. Somebody said, how do you do nails with your less dominant hand? Honestly, after doing my nails for so long, you kind of just get used to it. So, if you're trying to learn, it's going to be the same process as doing your other hand. You just have to practice a lot, and then eventually, it's going to be almost like just natural to you. And of course, I still struggle at times. You might see me cut myself a little bit, or, one nail might look a little bit off, but it's just going to take some time to finally be able to do it. Let's see. Somebody said glitz and glam opinion. Honestly, I've never used them. I don't want to give you advice on something that I've never used. But if anybody see, a comment that you could help someone with, just, feel free to comment back to some of these comments if you use different brands that I haven't, and just give your honest opinion on those. Somebody said, please talk about the blue sanitizer. Too many people are using alcohol on their tools. Are you talking about like Barbicide? Because what you have to use, I think I've done a video. I'm pretty sure I've done a video on sanitation and disinfection. So basically, when you use your tools, you want to make sure that you, for one, sanitize your products. And when you sanitize, not your products but your tools, when you sanitize, that's just you removing the dirt from your tools, like any dirt from your tools. And then whenever you disinfect, that's you actually putting it in a jar with Barbicide, and this is going to disinfect your products. And then some people go further to even sterilize their products, and they sell like the sterilizer lights. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but that is not required. We are required to sanitize and disinfect. So again, the blue water that you guys see is Barbicide. You mix it up with water. On the back of the bottle, it's going to tell you how much water to add and how much Barbicide to add. First, you have to sanitize your tools, which is just rinsing them off, with soap and water. And then you put them in the Barbicide. So they say, how do you prevent burning when using an e-file? So when you're using an e-file, if your client's nail is burning, that means that you're putting too much pressure on the nail, or you're using a drill bit that's too coarse. So if it's burning, make sure that, as always, you don't leave the drill in one spot for too long, because it's going to cause friction and it's going to cause your client's nail to burn. So make sure that you always keep your drill moving at all times, because you will burn your client. And then also, again, make sure that you're not putting too much pressure. You want to be really gentle when you're working. Somebody said, what's an easy way to do ombre without powder? So just today I did a beautiful set of colorful ombre nails that's on my Instagram. As always, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it is getnail32, so be sure to go check my pictures out. But yeah, so I did a set of ombre nails, and it was like blue, yellow, orange, pink, and like a teal color. I think that's what it was. And like basically, to do the ombre, I always do a base of like this light pink, which is by Essie, in the color Ballet Slippers. So I do that base, or you could always use a white, but we all know that white gets really thick. So that's why I use a really light pink. And then I use the makeup wedge punches. I know the other day someone told me to send them a picture, but these are the makeup wedge punches that I use. They are by Dollar General, and they just look like this. It comes with 28 makeup wedges. And then what you do is literally just put the polish on the brush, whether you're using different colors. I do recommend that, like, say you're doing like a pink and white ombre, you do the white first, and then you come in and do the pink at the back. Honestly, it's just me, but I feel like it helps the colors blend a lot better. So again, always do the color that's going on the tip first on your sponge, and then come back and do the other color on the back, whether it's nude or whatever color you're doing. Let's see. Okay, somebody asked about drill bits. So as you guys know, I use three drill bits. I use a quartz drill bit, which is the one that's already on my drill. And this one I use to remove gel polish. If I was to use, fine one, it would take forever for me to, let me see. What? Okay, okay, so if I don't get to answer your question, like I'm literally just reading as I go. I'm not a freaking hater, whatever you want to call me. I'm just reading the answers as I go. If I don't get to your answer, I'm sorry, but I'm literally just reading as I go. The questions are going super fast. I have 382 people watching this, so just bear with me. I'm trying to get everyone's questions, and see, this is why I don't do lives, because people like to get messy. But anyways, the question was the drill bits. So I use the quartz drill bit for removing gel polish. I use a sanding band, which looks like this, and this one of course is dirty. You guys know that I leave the old one on here, and then whenever my new client comes in, I replace it with a new one. That way, they can see that I'm actually, replacing it, and I'm not using an old one on them. And then I also use a fine drill bit, which looks like this. As you can see, it's really fine. That way you don't cut someone. But this one I use after I apply the acrylic, and that's just, to smooth out the acrylic. So those are the only three ones that I use. I know a lot of people use like the cuticle drill bits, but I only use those three. Somebody said, what UV light do you recommend? I recommend, or not necessarily recommend, but the ones that I use and done a review on are really, really good. Basically, all UV lamps do the same thing. I've said this plenty of times, like they all do the same thing. They're gonna cure your nails. Some have like higher watts, which means they're going to cure faster. So whatever you're looking for, just make sure that they have like a high watt, that it's a high watt UV lamp. That way you know that it's curing properly. But right now the one that I'm using is this one, which is my Abadi UV LED lamp. And this one, I can't remember how many watts this one is, but I do have a review video on it. If you just go through my videos, you will see it. Yeah, somebody said they don't like theirs because it's a 12 watt. Like, definitely you need something higher, whether it's like a 50 or 40 something. I can't remember what this one is, but you do want one with higher watts. Let's see. Um, Somebody said, is there a rhinestone glue that doesn't require a UV lamp? Okay, so the Mia Secret does not require for it to be cured. As you guys know, I use the Mia Secret resin for my bling. It is called a resin, but it does not have to be cured. Now, you will need to spray the activator spray to help it dry a little bit faster, but you do not need a light to cure this glue. You don't need a glue, UV lamp to cure this glue. This UV lamp is from Amazon. If you just go on Amazon, you can just find any light. But again, this one is the Abadi UV LED lamp. Also, when looking for a lamp, it's just going to depend on, just like how big do you want your lamp? What color do you want? Do you want it rounded like this? Do you want it squared? That's going to just depend on you. But just make sure that it has like a good amount of watts. That way, it cures your nails properly, and you won't have a problem with your nails not drying correctly. Let me see. Somebody said I use gel polish from IBD. Honestly, she said she used the gel polish from IBD and her nails took forever to cure. What watts is your lamp? Because it might be your light. A lot of the lights are not powerful enough to cure the nails. So again, make sure that that you're using a lamp with enough watts. Somebody say, how do you take the sticky layer of gel polish? Okay, so if you do gel polish and you do a top coat and it's sticky, that's called the inhibition layer. So again, the layer that, like the sticky layer that's left on the nails after you do a gel top coat on your nails, is called the inhibition layer. And if you do have that problem, you could always just get alcohol wipes. So you can just get literally just alcohol wipes and wipe that off. You guys know that that with my top coat, this one is a non-cleanse top coat. If you can see, you can't really see, but it is a non-cleanse top coat, which means that I don't have to clean the top coat because it's not sticky. So I would recommend that when you're buying a top coat, that it is a non-cleanse top coat. Somebody said, I guess she's talking about the glue. She said, so I think it says Soleil's bling adhesive is amazing. I follow her on Instagram, so I see a lot of people buy that glue. I've actually never tried it, but I have heard that it's really good. Somebody said, can you please talk about dual forms? Honestly, there's not much that I can say about it because I've only done it once and it was just for a review. And I only did one nail, but I've never actually done a whole set. So I can't really just give you my honest opinion about it because I don't know much about it, to be honest. Okay, sorry, something happened. Let me see. What was I talking about? I honestly lost my whole train of thought. Somebody said, are you open to do a Kiss acrylic DIY? Honestly, I have thought about it. I just have to find some time to go out and buy the little kit. But I am thinking about it because that was the first kit that I ever used to do nails. So I'm going to try to do that pretty soon. Let me see. What gels do you use? Okay, so my gel polish that I use, you guys know that I use a lot of the Madam Glam gel polishes. I have a ton of them now, which I love. I also use the D&D gel polishes, which I buy. If you are a beginner, I would recommend you just go ahead and start off with the D&D because they're really, really good. They're really inexpensive. At my local nail supply store, I think they're like $7.50, but it comes with a gel polish and a regular polish. The only thing that I honestly can say is that a lot of the time the regular polish will be a little bit on the thicker side, so just make sure that be careful with that. Somebody else said nail bit sterilize. Nail bit sterilize. Again, when you are in a salon, you are not required to sterilize. My drill bits, what I do is basically the same thing, just making sure that you wash them off with soap and a little brush. Brush them off really good and then put them in your barber side as well. Also, when you put products or tools in your barber side, you want to make sure that you do not leave it in there for more than 10 minutes because they will begin to rust. Let's see. Do you have to, somebody said, do you have to use a primer when you're doing acrylic nails? Yes, you do have to use a primer. The one I use is actually different than my actual acrylic brand. I use the OPI Bondex, which looks like this. And basically your primer is just going to make sure that the acrylic adheres to the nail really good. So a lot of the time if you get to do a primer, most likely you will get lifting. Somebody said, I want to start doing my nails, so what would you suggest getting first? If you go to one of my videos, whether it's one that says, watch me do my nails, or just any other acrylic video, there will be a list in the description with products that you will need to do your nails. The best nail glue that I use is the KDS glue. It dries really fast. It comes in like the little tubes like this, and I really like it. And those I sell on my website as well. Again, the website is still down for restocking. Just bear with me and be patient, and it will be up really, really soon. Somebody said, do I use odorless monomer? I think we were just talking about this. No, I use the Mia Secret acrylic system, and it's not odorless. When shaping, what do you use? Whenever I'm shaping nails, I use the 100 nail files. They work really good for me and they are pretty coarse, so they do really good with shaping. Somebody said they love my makeup. Thank you, girl. Let's see, what do I use for the unicorn effect? What gel do you use? Whenever I do like a unicorn nail, which is like the ridges, I use the Tammy Taylor. Let's see, I use the Tammy Taylor nail gel that looks like this. I actually didn't buy this. I have this from winning I won it from a competition, so I still have some of it. Somebody said, what about a 180 nail file? A 180, it's not as coarse. 100, I think the lower the number, the more coarse the nail file. So if you're using a 180 nail file, it might not be as coarse, and it might just, I mean, you'll still be able to shape the nails, but it's just going to take you a little bit longer to shape them. Somebody say, how did I get into competitions? So I've talked about this before, where when I was in high school, doing cosmetology, my school offered, or my school was part of Skills USA, which is a organization that prepares students for the real world. So every year they have a competition. First you compete at state. I went for nails my first year in cosmetology, which was my junior year, and I won first place. And then you go on to nationals, then you get prizes when you win. And I also did it my senior year and my year in college when I was doing cosmetology. So this is something that was part of my school. This is not something that anyone can just join. You have to be a part of Skills USA through your school. I know not all schools are involved in it, so I would recommend, if you're in school, especially if you're in like high school, just ask your counselor about Skills USA, because it is a really great program. And that's how I was able to pay for school, because I got a scholarship through them for winning first place. Let me see. Can you explain the different type of nail files? What are the best? So again, to file nails, I use a 100 nail file. So you can use, to shape nails, you can use a 80. I think I have some 80-100 files as well, and those work really good. You can use a 100. So what the numbers mean, again, is the lower the number, the more coarse the nail file. The higher the number, the less coarse. So like, say like a 4, I don't even know, I think they have 400s. Those are going to be like your buffers, and then the other files are like the 80s and 100s are going to be the files that you use to shape your nails. And then the other numbers in between are going to be, you know, a little bit more finer to file the acrylic, if that makes sense. No, somebody said, do you discharge of the sanding bins? Yes, when you're using these little sanding bins, you throw these away. You don't want to reuse them, because that is really unsanitary. So make sure that you throw away each little sanding bin after each use and after each client. Somebody say, how do you prevent lifting? Lifting, it could be a number of things. It could be you not pushing back the cuticles. It could be you not prepping the nail correctly. And prepping just means, you know, removing the shine from the natural nail. Our nail produces a lot of oils, and if you leave those oils on your nail, I guess I could say it's like water and oil. They're never gonna mix. So if your nail is oily, like, you know how like if you look at your nails right now and you don't have any acrylic nails on, it's gonna be shiny. So why is she texting me? So if you apply the acrylic over that, your nail is going to pop off really easily. So make sure that you remove the shine from the natural nail really good. Also make sure that you are using the right size tips, and then most importantly, making sure that you file around the cuticle area really good. And you would just have to find what you're doing wrong. It's going to be more of like a process of elimination, just trying to see what you're doing wrong and what you could improve in. That way you don't get any lifting. But as a, come here, sugar. But when you're doing nails, you know, it's just going to be a matter of just finding, again, what you're doing wrong and just fixing it. But it is going to take a little bit of time to finally like prevent any lifting, because even now, you know, sometimes, you know, I might not file a nail good enough, and then I'll still get, you know, some lifting. So sometimes you're not going to be able to just prevent everything. Let's see. Somebody say, have I ever used Young Nail products? No, I've actually have never used their products, but I've heard, I see a lot of people use them. Okay, so somebody just asked about the 101 nail classes. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, because I like to travel I don't like staying in one spot for too long, and eventually it's like I start getting bored and I just want to get away. So I felt like maybe traveling and actually doing something while I travel could help. So I'm thinking about doing the one-on-one classes. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it. I was thinking about, because for a minute I was thinking about like going to Florida for an entire month and just, working out there because I just love Florida. Hey, let me see. Hey, Aaliyah, I'm just now seeing your message. I will in a minute. It's like really messy. I just finished recording another video, so it's really messy. But anyways, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So I was thinking about like maybe doing like a nail tour, I guess, kind of thing. And just, going from like state to state, working my way to Florida. So since I'm in Arkansas, it would be like Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, or Georgia, and then Florida. So I was thinking about, stopping in each state and just doing, one-on-one classes. Honestly, I don't know that I would want to do, like big classes just because I don't know, like for me, I feel like it's more personal when you do the one-on-one classes, and I would hate, to have people pay for like a big class and then you don't get to ask all your questions, or you don't get that one-on-one help that you need. So honestly, I feel like I would want to do more one-on-one classes than I would, group classes, because I know that that's what I would like to do. So I'm still trying to brainstorm as far as like, when I want to do it, getting a kit together, because I would want to include the kit. That way, everyone's using the same thing, and it's products that I know that, will work really good. So what else? Yeah, so I'll give you guys more details on that. Honestly, honestly, I don't know what it is that's holding me back. I feel like there's something that's holding me back from doing it. I don't know if I'm just like nervous or anything. As far as like the teaching, I know that wouldn't be a problem, because I know you guys always tell me that I'm really detailed when I'm teaching. So I know that wouldn't be a problem, but I don't know if maybe it's the part where I have to drive or what. I honestly do not know. Um, so I would have to like finally just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Let me get everything together and then just start doing it. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. Uh, I see people are just naming places where I should go. Okay, somebody said, where do you get your license? Okay, let me talk about this. So if you want to get licensed, whether it's as a cosmetologist, as a nail tech, as an esthetician, whatever it is, you want to make sure, or you not make sure, but you have to make sure, I don't know, you have to go to school. It's not like getting a license for nails or cosmetology. It's not something that you can just take an online class and get a license. Like, no, it doesn't work like this. You actually have to clock your hours. I know here in Arkansas, you have to have 1,200 hours to graduate with your, or graduate, because I know for my college, we actually graduated. But you have to have 1,200 hours to get your license, to be able to take your test and get your license. So again, this is not something that you can just take a 1 week course and be licensed. This is actually something that is going to take anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on what program you do. I did the cosmetology program, but yeah, I wanted to go ahead and mention that, because a lot of people think that they can take like a one-on-one class and be licensed, and that's not how it works. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Somebody said, do you have to be licensed to train with me? No, whenever I start doing my classes, you don't have to be licensed. It can be for anyone, whether you're just like a beginner or you're like kind of in the middle, it's going to be open to anyone. Somebody said, why are her tips coming off in a few days? I think I just talked about this, where you have to make sure that you're prepping the nail correctly, and that you are filing around the cuticle area really good. Another question that I was going to talk about earlier, somebody said, can you use a Michael's brush instead of alpha brush? Honestly, again, this is using, I mean, buying a brush, you want to make sure that you invest into a good brush. You cannot be cheap about your products. Like, whether, even though like the Alpha, or not Alpha, but Mia Secret is really inexpensive compared to other brands, but your products is something that you don't want to be cheap about, because in the long run, you're going to end up spending more, because say you buy like a cheaper brush, and then you have to turn around and spend more money again on a better brush, because even the brushes from Sally's are horrible. Like, whenever I first started doing nails, I had to go buy a new brush like literally every week, every 2 weeks, because it was bad. So I would go ahead and just tell you to go invest in a good brush. Alpha brush is really good, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Alpha brush, but I know that Alpha brush works really good for me, which is why I recommend them. So again, just make sure that you invest in good products. That way you're not, you know, coming out of more money in the long run. Let's see. Yeah, as far as like the age for my classes that I'm planning on doing, you don't have to be a certain age. You know, as long as your parents, you know that, you know, once I start doing it, I don't know if, like, that's another thing. Like, I don't know if I would want to come to people, as far as like coming to their home, or if I would want them to come to me, or if I would want to like get like a booth in a salon. Like, honestly, I have no idea. That's like things that are like running through my mind, you know, just deciding maybe going to like, because I know a lot of you guys, you know, you guys have already been learning. Okay, my connection was bad, sorry. Let's see. Somebody said there are many cheap office spaces. The only thing about that is like, you know, I would have to bring my table, and like, this is a lot of product to travel with. And then also, you know, I don't know that they would want that smell in their buildings, because I know a lot of people are picky about that. I was either even thinking about like a hotel room, and just having people come to the hotel, you know, for their classes, but I don't know. I'll have to figure all that out, and then I'll give you guys more details on that. Somebody say, how long should they practice before they start doing clients? Honestly, I cannot answer that question, because it's going to just depend on you. You know, do you feel like you're comfortable enough to start working on people? So, you know, you could be doing nails for a week or two, and your nails already look really, really good. So I'm not going to tell you wait a month or two, because if you're already good, why would you wait? So just as far, I mean, as long as you feel comfortable enough, you know, to where you feel like, okay, you know, my nails look good, my nails aren't lifting too bad, so I'm going to start working on clients. So just whenever you feel comfortable. I'm sorry. Let's see. Somebody say, how do you remove dried acrylic from the brush? Okay, so when you leave your brush out and don't clean it off, which, okay, when you're using your acrylic brush, you want to make sure that you clean it off after each client. I cannot stress that enough. Clean your brush off after each client. Clean your brush off after each client, because if not, if there's any acrylic in your brush, it's going to dry up, and it's going to be impossible to get it out. But what you can do is just get a little dapping dish with brush cleaner or acetone. A lot of people don't like to use acetone, but I use acetone. You just leave your brush in there with acetone in a dapping dish, and just leave it in there for about 10 minutes. Somebody say, somebody said, can you use Alpha brush as a beginner? Yes, you can definitely use their Alpha brushes as a beginner, as a professional. You know, their brushes are really good for everyone. You don't have to be licensed to purchase from there as well. Let's see. Yes, whenever you're using, somebody said, when you're using covered color acrylics like pink or beige, do you still have to use clear over them? Honestly, I do recommend that you use clear over it, because a lot of the time when you come back to file, you know, if you file too much of the colored acrylic, it's going to start to look patchy. So just make sure that you do like the covered color and then clear. Somebody said, what about kids? Again, honestly, if you are a beginner, make sure that you invest in good products. I recommend Mia Secret. They're really inexpensive. So just go ahead and spend a few extra little dollars. Stop going to Walmart. Stop going to the dollar store and buying your products, because you're going to regret it, because those products are not good. Like, trust me, I've been there. You know, you try to go the cheaper route and you end up having to spend more money. Somebody say, how do you remove acrylic? I have done a few videos on removing acrylic nails. You want to make sure that you cut the nails down first, and then you file them down a little bit to make them a little bit thinner, and then you soak them in pure acetone. Again, when you're soaking acrylic nails off, you want to use pure acetone. When you're disinfecting your products in barbicide, you want to leave your tools in the barbicide jar for 10 minutes. I know mine been in here for a little bit now, but I'm busy, so yeah. Thank you, Guru Speak. Somebody said, if you're watching this, be sure to hit the like button. As always, also be sure to subscribe to my channel. That way you can get, you know, my videos or get notifications when I post. So make sure that you subscribe. Let me see. Okay, somebody said, I used a bright yellow acrylic powder today, and I didn't do the clear on top. Is that why it came out patchy after I filed? Yes, that is exactly why it came out patchy. So again, if you're using colored acrylic, whether it's white, pink, orange, yellow, purple, you want to make sure that you come back in and encapsulate that with the clear acrylic, because if not, whenever you file the acrylic, it is going to be patchy, because you're going to be filing a lot of that colored acrylic off. Nail tips that I recommend, the ones that I use are the same ones that I use on my website, so they will be up pretty soon. Other than that, the other tips that I use are from my local nail supply store. They are a little bit on the flimsier side, but I've learned to work with them, and then I also have to make sure that I make them a little bit thicker. Let me see. Somebody say, how do you remove encapsulated flowers from the real nail? If it's on, like, if you didn't do, usually when you do encapsulated glitter or flowers, you want to do a layer of clear acrylic and then do the flowers on top. So if you didn't do clear acrylic, you will have to soak off the nail to remove them, because if you try to file and it's on the natural nail, it's gonna hurt. Somebody said, what do I use for my eyebrows? So honestly, I was using the Morphe little eyebrow pomade, but over the weekend, I did a makeup class with Vicky Reyes. I'll be sure to leave her information down in the description so you guys can go check her out, because y'all, like, I had so much fun with her. She's actually from Arkansas, but she moved to Florida. So if you want your makeup done, be sure to hit her up. Again, her name is Vicky Reyes. She is in the Tampa, Clearwater, St. Petersburg area, and she also travels to Miami and Orlando, so be sure to check her out. She is like my new best friend. She might not feel the same about me, but yeah, I did a makeup class with her, and she put me on the, what is it called, Benefit eyebrow pencil. So that's what I did today. I think it's like $24 at Sephora, but it's worth it because it makes them look a lot more natural. As you guys know, this eyebrow is always darker right here because I just have more hair right here. Like, that's just how they naturally are. I know a lot of people always say something about it, how this looks darker right here, but that's how my eyebrows are. I don't even feel that in. Like, it's just naturally like hairy right there. But anyways, let's see. Somebody say, how long should it take you to do a full set or fill-in? Okay, so all of my clients I book for hour and 30 minutes, whether it's a full set or a fill. So like an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours is good timing. So the only way to get faster when doing nails is basically just practicing. You can set a timer. That way, you know, you can try to beat that time every time, because that's kind of what I did when I was learning. But that's because I was doing nail competitions, so I had no choice but to, you know, speed up the process. But I hope that's what helped a lot. Somebody else asked, she says she watched my Cardi B inspired nails, and where did I get the decals from? The decals that I use are by it's applesdiscountnailshop.com. I do have a promo code for them, which is Natalie, Natalie, all capitalized letters, and I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. But if I forget to leave it, just go to the video again and I added it in the description. I know I forgot to do it the first time. Somebody said, I struggle with ombre acrylics. Any advice? Okay, so when you're doing ombre nails with acrylic, you want to make sure that you apply the color on the tip first. So like, say that this nail was acrylic, which is not, it's just polish. If I was doing a nude and yellow ombre, I would do the yellow first, right on the tip, like from right here down, making sure that I don't leave that yellow just like a straight line, like blending it right in the middle. And then once you do the tips, you come back and do the nude color. You do want to make sure that whatever color you use on the back is a covered color, something that's gonna be a little bit darker than the tip. That way, you know, it blends really well. And after you do the cover color, make sure that you blend it really good in the middle. Don't brush it all the way down to the bottom, because then your whole nail is gonna be that nudish color. So blend it really good in the middle, and then come back and do the clear acrylic over the whole nail. So hopefully that helps. I do have quite a few different videos on acrylic, or not acrylic, but ombre nails. So just be sure to check those out. Let's see. Thank you, Kinley. I think that's your name, Kinley. Again, so somebody said, what's an advice for those that are starting to do nails at home? What should they start off buying? So again, you need all your supplies needed to do a full set. If you go to some of my other videos, all of the products will be listed in the description. To do nails, you don't have to be a certain age. You do have to be a certain age to go to school. So I think the age is like 16. You either have to be 16 or have a high school diploma. That's if you're going to school for cosmetology. Somebody said, do you have to be licensed to do your own nails? If you're just doing your nails, like your own nails, you don't have to be licensed. Now, you do have to be licensed if you're working on other people. Somebody said, how can I get the foil glue to last? You just have to make sure that you let it dry really good before you apply your top coat over it, because I know what you're talking about. A lot of the time it will crack. Somebody said, how do you prevent your nails from being thick? It just depends. You know, you just want to make sure you're watching your nail while you're working, and make sure that if you see, like, if you look at it from the side and it's too thick, then obviously stop adding acrylic. But if you like come up with like your own method, like I use the 4-ball method, which is the first one right in the middle, the next one at the tip, the other one closer to the cuticle area, and the one over the entire nail. If you come up with a technique like that, or stick to something like that, it's going to help you with, you know, knowing how much product to add. Let's see. Somebody said, how long does it take you to perfect from doing nails? Honestly, it takes years of practice. I feel like every time, you know, I'm getting a little bit better. I learn new things, you know, I do different techniques. So you're always going to be learning, whether you're doing nails, whether you're doing makeup. It's always going to be something new coming out. So you just have to stay on top of it. The drill that I use right now is by McCord, and it's been working really good. As you guys know, not too long ago, I did a review on the Scarlet nail drill by Melody Susie. That one was actually really good as well. But I don't like, you know, like the McCord one is still working really good, so I didn't want to go ahead and switch over when the other one was still working, if that makes sense. So whenever I get tired of this one, or when this one stops working, I'll bring out the other one. Let's see. The acrylic that I use is the Mia Secret acrylic system. Somebody says, should I give up on doing nails? No, just the other day I posted a picture on on Instagram where like you're gonna have those moments where you know you're doing good and then it kind of starts going downhill and then you get a little bit better. You know, you're gonna have those moments. You're gonna have moments where you want to give up, but girl, literally just keep trying. I had that, you know, moment when I wanted to give up, but it's just a matter of practicing and in no time, like you're gonna get better, but just give it time and just keep practicing. Somebody said advice on going faster than 2 hours. Again, I just talked about that. How you can just, you know, set a timer, you know, and just time yourself and try to beat the time every time. Finding little things that might help you speed up the process, whether it's like, you know, shaping the nails after you apply the acrylic, whether it's, you know, clipping down the side of the nails when you're shaping nails. You know, you're gonna find little tricks like that that are gonna help speed up the process. But honestly, you know, for us, especially if we're doing like gel polish, we're doing the bling, we're doing encapsulated nails, like all this stuff, you know, we're gonna take a little bit longer than the traditional nail shops. So I say that an hour to an hour and, I mean that an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours is good time for us. Let's see. Somebody said, is it okay to encapsulate water decals? Honestly, I have never tried to encapsulate water decals. I always just, you know, place it over gel polish and then do the gel top coat over it. But I've actually have never encapsulated them. She said, somebody said, how can I get clients at 15? I mean, clients, I'm 15, but people my age think I can't do nails. Okay, what you can do is just post your work on Instagram, tell your friends, you know, and then the word's just gonna get out. They're gonna see your pictures and they're just gonna be like, oh, you know, she do good nails. I just said that the drill that I use is by McCard. It works really good. I've had it for a while now. It hasn't given me any issues. The drill looks like this. It's purple, and on the side it just says JSD4, and it is by McCard. So that's the drill that I use. This is the same one that I've been using for a while, and I do really recommend it. Somebody said, where do I get my brushes? Again, my brushes are by Alpha Brush. I do have a promo code, which is Natalie10. The UV lamp that I'm using is by a body. It is my UV LED lamp. It's by a body. I'll be sure. Actually, there's a video on it where I did a review. Yes, it is an e-file. Somebody say, how often do I get a new drill? Honestly, I've been using this one for quite a while now. The last one that I bought, it just stopped working, so I switched over to this one. So literally you can use it for years until it gives out on you. The tip cutter you can just buy on Amazon. I actually just bought a new one because my other one like is stopped working, but I just have this one, and if you just go on Amazon and type in tip cutter, it'll come up. The fur that I have for my pictures, I literally bought it like, where did I buy it from? I don't even know what it was. I think it was like, it wasn't, I don't know. If you go to the fabric store, you can get it from there. But I got it from this store called Dirt Cheap, and it was just like in the box. And I didn't even know what they were selling it for, but I bought it and I just cut it in half. The gel polishes, I use Madam Glam and I use D&D, and they work really good. Again, if you are a beginner and you want to start doing gel polish, I would recommend the D&D gel polishes, which come with a regular nail polish and a gel polish. But Madam Glam is also really, really good. I love them. They're my favorite ones, but they are a little bit on the pricier side. Yeah, somebody said you can go to Five Below and get a little fur rug, and you can use it for your pictures. Somebody said, yes, girl, I love Dirt Cheap. I need to go this weekend. I haven't been in a while, but I just go in there and just walk around a million times until I find something. Let's see. There's tips on good apex. Okay, so when you're doing your apex, that's gonna be the last bead that you do. So what you want to do when you're doing your apex, if you see that the nails are really flat, like look at your nail from the side. If you see that it's still really flat, make sure that you place your bead like right there, closer to the cuticle area. And then when you're brushing it down, don't pat down super hard, because when you're doing that, you're gonna just spread the acrylic all over the nail. You want the acrylic to stay right there in at your apex area. So what you want to do is just place it down and gently just blend it in with the rest of the nail, but making sure that all of that product or most of the product stays right there, because you want this part of your nail thicker. And then as you can see, that part of your nail has to be thicker. You see how there's a gap right there because it's not as thick. So you always want this area right here to be thicker than the rest of the nail. And of course, see, so if you put your brush on top of the nail, just make sure that you have that thicker area right there. That's your apex. Where the brush touches the nail, that's your apex. So hopefully that helped. Again, the crystals are from my website. They will be back up once I restock. And then the bigger stones I get from Amazon, I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. But you can just type in, like, I can't remember what I type in, but if you type in like pointed back bling or 3D bling, it'll come up. How do you get a license? Somebody said, how do I get a license to start doing nails? Again, to get a license, you have to go to school. You have to clock them hours. I think here in Arkansas, to get your nail license, you have to go to school for 600 hours, literally 600 hours. And that's how you get your license. Yeah, I think they're called pointed back. Yeah, the big stones are pointed back. So if you go on Amazon, just type in pointed back. No, I don't travel to do nails. I am thinking about traveling and doing nail classes, if that's what you're asking. Somebody said, which is better, ceramic drill bits or carbide? Honestly, for a while I was using the carbide ones, and I just switched over to the ceramic ones because I feel like they're not as sharp. The last drill bit that I used, that I had, it was really sharp and I was cutting people, so I switched back over to the ceramic ones. So I would say ceramic ones. Somebody said it takes 200. Wow, are you serious? Somebody said Florida is 240 hours to get licensed in nails. Y'all, that is crazy. That's good. Because here literally is 600 hours to get your nail license. But 240, that is nothing. Virginia 120. Wow, that is good. Like, see, like, y'all need to go to school. If you can go to school, just go ahead and go to school, especially if it's only 150 hours or 240. That is nothing compared to here. Texas is 900. Wow. See, Texas, yeah. Somebody say, how's the state board test? Whenever I did my test, remember, I am a cosmetology or licensed cosmetologist, so I didn't do the nail test. I did cosmetology. So for cosmetology, we strictly hair. Somebody said mine was 600 in Texas. Yeah, I think Texas and Arkansas are really like literally neighbors, so a lot of the things are like the same. Illinois is 350. That I had no idea. I thought it was all gonna be like in the 600s, or 500s. Somebody said, do you need to have an ID or social security for nail school? Yes, you will need to for your license, unfortunately. Oh. Yeah, I think somebody said low hour classes. That's true. Somebody said low hour classes are good until you move to a different state. So like if you were to move to like say I lived in Arkansas, or like say I moved to Florida, then I don't think that I would have to, go to school again, because we require more hours than Florida. But like say if you're from Florida and you wanted to move to Arkansas, since we require more hours, most likely you would have to go back to school to get the rest of the hours that Arkansas requires. So that is the bad thing about it. But still, like if you don't plan on moving, like girl, that's good. Like, y'all need to go to school, especially if it only requires like 100 and some hours. Like, that is good. What else? Somebody said in Kansas it's 350. See, that's still not bad because that's almost half of what they require here. Yeah, see, somebody said, Leah said that in Texas they let them do it in high school. So that's how we were here in Arkansas. We have the high school program. So I started the cosmetology program in high school. So whenever I graduated high school, I already had 720 hours towards my cosmetology. And then I just went off to college and finished off the rest of my 1,200 hours. So I did junior year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, and 1 year of college. But I know it's a long time, but you know, it was all free, so I didn't care. I'm not in Texas, I'm in Arkansas. Ohio is 200. Oh, okay, I thought she said 2,000. Ohio is 200 hours and 8 hours for electric grill. Electric drill? Oh, electric drill. I guess that's what she meant. Somebody said, how do you get the shine to last on nails? Just make sure that you're using a good top coat. I use the IBD gel top coat and it lasts pretty good. Somebody said, would I recommend them taking a workshop class before they go to school? Honestly, it just depends on you. I would say just wait and start school, and then if you still feel like you need more school, then just go ahead and like take the class. But again, I would say go to school first and then take a class if you need to. Somebody say, how can we do a cheap soak off? You just get acetone and soak your nails in pure acetone. The Koopa, somebody said I used the Koopa no wipe top coat. Honestly, I tried using the Koopa top coat. I used it on one client. I even bought like the big refillable bottle, and I only used it on that one client, and she was having problems with cracking. Like, even though I cured the nails really good, they were cracking. And then I tried it on myself because I was like, maybe it was just her that was doing, she was probably doing something she didn't have no business doing. But then I tried it on myself and it was cracking as well. So I remember I contacted Koopa. They didn't want to do anything about it. So I ended up just sending it back because it just was not going to work. So I didn't really like their top coat. I don't know if you had that problem at all, but I know that it was the non-cleansed top coat. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna leave it at this. I've been on here for 75 minutes. I have to call my clients and confirm their appointment, or not call, but text my clients and confirm their appointments. I have a mess over here again. Before this, I'd recorded another video, so all of the things are right here. So yeah. I'm gonna just go ahead and get off. I think I answered quite a few questions. So hopefully you guys were able to learn something. And yeah. So again, thank you guys so much for everyone that watched this live. Hope you guys have a nice or good rest of your day or night. I have to clean this mess up, and then I have to take a shower, go to sleep, wake up, do nails. Like, yeah. Yes, I guess honestly I do get tired of doing nails. Like, physically, my back always hurts so bad. So yeah. Last question, how do you clean your brushes? Again, I soak them in pure acetone for 10 minutes, no longer than 10 minutes, because you will ruin your brush. So again, hopefully this video helped. I will let everyone rest. Sugar is ready to go to sleep as well, so I have to get into bed so we can have a good day tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't checked out my last video, be sure to check it out. It was really nice. It was the Cardi B inspired nail. Also be sure to subscribe, because once we hit 200,000 subscribers, or not 200 but 250, I'm gonna do a giveaway. I'm also gonna do a giveaway on my Instagram once we hit 50,000 subscribers or followers. So be sure to go follow me on Instagram at GetNailed32, and I will see you